1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move. Whatever click you choose, you better
say what's going on, YouTube. Once again, it's your boy 16 to life. Yard down. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm back with another story for y'all. But before I start, do me a favor. Hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell. That way, when I drop one of my stories, you can hop right on it if you want. Now, okay, this story right here, this is another one of my Montana stories, man. When I was out in Montana, I ran across a gang of pimps, players, you know what I'm saying, people from everywhere. You know, pickpockets, con men, gangsters, all type of shit. So this story right here is about my boy Robert, man. Robert was a cold gangster type motherfucker. I believe he was up out of Rockford, Illinois somewhere. I know his cousin Rufus, who was a pimp, Rufus had bought him down and shit. Bought him down there. I think probably, you know, to kind of like get him out of trouble. I ended up, you know, meeting him. But then once I was in the county jail doing a little time, he was also in there for this particular shooting that I'm going to tell y'all about. So, you know, me and him get to talking and shit. You know, he a cool dude, but I think he was about 37, 38, somewhere up in there, you know. And he told me basically like for the last, you know, 20-some years, maybe 23, 24 years, he'd probably only been out of jail about 9, 10 months in total. You know, he said he'd go to jail, you know, do 5, 6 years, come home, be home 30 days, catch another case, go back, do 4, 5 years, come back, stay out again another 2, 3 months. I remember him telling me one particular time he got out, you know, got cracked, had done a gang of time. He said he wasn't ready to go back. So he went to trial. They found him guilty. When they found him guilty, he jumped up and tried to take off running. He said the sheriff told everybody to get down, the bailiff up in there. Bailiff started busting, boom, boom, boom. Shot him in the back, shot him in his thigh and in his calf. You know, he showed me where he had got shot, spent him around, knocked him all down and shit. You know, they pick him up, take his ass to jail, charge him with attempted escape, and knock some more time on him. So, actually, this was his second time being out in Montana. The first time he came down, you know, I'm out here in this California sun baking trying to get this story for y'all, man. But anyway, the first time he came down, I don't know how long he was down, maybe a few months, I can't remember. But I know at some point in time, his cousin Rufus had bought a Cadillac. Now, so Rufus only had the car maybe about a day, maybe about 5, 6 hours. I know it wasn't that long. He had just got the motherfucker. It was black, I believe, a Seville. Anyway, Coupe de Ville, I believe it was a Coupe de Ville. But anyway, so I'm out. I just happened to be outside the arcade bar. I see him and this other pimp, my pimp partner, Ice Cream. They racing, they flying down the street, going down 27, going down South Park. Maybe a few minutes later, they come back up, going up towards the airport, if anybody who's familiar with that area. Now, right when you're going, as you pass the arcade bar, it's some going up, it's some train tracks right there. So Ice Cream, he in the lead. He slowed down for the train tracks. Robert didn't slow down. He ran right into the back of him. Bam! You know, he had a big ass accident right there. Radiator blew all up. Car smoking and shit. He didn't fuck this shit up. So now every time I see Rufus is laughing and joking. He giggling and shit. So, you know, somebody went and got him. He ran over there, you know, mad as a motherfucker. He put that motherfucker on the bus and sent him back. So the next day I seen Rufus said, "Hey, what's going on, Chili? You know my cousin wrecked my car yesterday. I put his ass on the first thing smoking." You know, he was always laughing and shit. I remember another time, Rufus, he had 2 hoes. They had went out of state to do some hoeing or whatever. Now, for whatever reason, they got into it. I think the main hoe he had didn't like that he had got another hoe. She was mad about that. So they ended up getting into a fight. She stabbed him and shit, you know. So I seen him later on. "What's going on, Chill? You know my bitch tried to kill me last night. She stabbed me. Look what the bitch done to me." So, you know, this dude is always laughing and joking and shit. So So now this particular time, okay, Robert is back down again. So now I happen to be in jail doing some time. My house had got raided and shit. I'm doing a little time, serving a little sentence up in there, and he's in jail for this particular shooting that I'm talking about. Okay, so now on this particular day, he come into the arcade bar. He said, "Hey man, anybody seen Wayne?" Now Wayne was an Indian dude. Wayne was probably about 6'5", 6'6", big old tall motherfucker, you know. Big old giant dude. When he wasn't doing that dope, when he was doing that dope, he was about 215, 220. When he ain't doing the dope, I had seen him a time or two get out of the pen. He probably 250, 260, big old motherfucker. So now also Wayne was a dope fiend. You know, he did burglaries and robberies and that type of shit. Or he hustled in probably a whole bunch of different ways. However he could get his bread. You know, I remember one particular time, matter of fact, my girlfriend called me crying. Somebody had broke into her house, kicked the door in while she was at school, stole all her rings and shit. You know, a bunch of jewelry that I bought her, and they had stole the VCR. So she called me. So me, being in the street myself and shit, I'm assuming it is some dope fiend, you know, and I'm assuming that whoever did it can't take the shit to the pawn shop. I mean, well, you can, but if you do, you know, you got to leave out. They want an ID and all that shit just in case the shit come back stolen. They can easily track you down. So a motherfucker that's doing kicking robberies, they know this shit. They not going to take shit to the pawn shop. So I go to the arcade bar just on the, you know, just hoping that maybe somebody might have came through there. So when I go in there, I see my partner Ghost. Ghost is from Chicago, another real motherfucker, gangster type motherfucker. So I said, "Hey, Ghost, anybody happen to come through here trying to sell some rings?" He said, "Yeah, man, Wayne just came through here about 15, 20 minutes ago, man. I bought a couple for my wife." So he showed me the rings. I said, "Hey, yeah, man, look, dude broke into my house, man, my girl's house. This my girl's shit. So tell me what you paid for it. I cash you out, you know, and I want my rings back." He said, "Okay, cool." So he told me what he paid. I gave him the bread. So I hung around for a minute. So I leave. So now when I go outside, just so happened, Wayne is pulling up. So I go over to him. I'm like, "Hey, Wayne, what's up, man? You know, I just sold Wayne dope with gang of time and shit." So I'm like, "Hey, Wayne, what's going on, man? I heard you got some rings for sale." He like, "Yeah, man, I got some rings and shit." So I said, "Hey, let me look at them." So we got them all in a bag and shit. So I don't know how many it was, 5, 6 left, whatever. I said, "Oh yeah, what you want for this?" You know, he told me, "What you want for this?" "All right, what you want for this?" Once so every time he asked me, I put the ring on my finger as far as it would go. You know what I'm saying? Then once he do that, I step back. I said, "Hey, man, look. You broke into my girl's house over there on State Street. These are my girl's rings. I ain't got nothing for you." You know what I'm saying? He like, "Oh man, I didn't know." Woo woo. I said, "You know, okay." But now me being in the street, you know what I'm saying? I'm not taking this shit personal because, you know, that's his hustle. You know, he do robberies. You know, just so happened he hit the wrong house. I'm assuming. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, like I say, I didn't take the shit personal. That was his thing, you know, except these right here, I'm gonna need these back and I ain't got nothing for you. So okay, he wasn't tripping. Like, "Okay, yeah, man, my bad." Woo 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 woo. All right, so you know, I get the, you know, I go back to her house, give her the rings and shit. So that was his get down. But on this particular day anyway, Robert coming to the arcade bar. He said, "Hey man, anybody seen Wayne?" He mad as a motherfucker. You know, when whoever, me or somebody said, "No, why, what's going on?" So long story short, him and Wayne had robbed somebody for a swamp cooler or stole it, burglarized it or whatever. And Wayne had went and sold it and was supposed to bring him back his cut and never did bring him back his cut. So, you know, of course, he figured Wayne out there getting high with his money. He mad as a motherfucker. He like, "Yeah, man, this motherfucker owe me money, man." At that point in time, he said some of the coldest shit that I'd ever heard. Now, keep in mind, this is back like 91, 92. He said, "Man, if I don't try and kill him when I see him, God is a punk." You know, this went back, you know, like now today when all these dudes run around putting shit on God this, on God that. I said, damn. If he don't kill him, God's a punk? I said, this is some cold shit. This motherfucker just said, right? Motherfucker gonna have to, like, he gonna have to stick to that basically in my head. That's what I'm thinking. Like, damn, that's some cold shit this motherfucker just said. Now, as he in there talking, well, it's like a movie. This shit was like a movie, man. Somebody said, "Man, Wayne is pulling up right now." He said, "What?" That motherfucker spent. When he spent, he snatched a 38. Motherfucker had a black 38 with a brown handle. He snatched it about his waistband. Anybody that's ever been to the arcade bar know the arcade bar got this big wood, or had this big wooden heavy ass door. So Wayne pulled up to the curb right in front of the bar. So you can lightweight see the car that Wayne is in. So the door closed. Robert ran outside, homie, kicked that door open. Boom! That motherfucker kicked the door open. All you heard was boom, boom, boom. After the first shot, I turned around. I'm like, God damn, I head the other way. This motherfucker's out there busting. Wayne's sitting in the car. He giving it to him. Boom, 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 boom. He gave him the whole, he gave him the whole, all he had in the motherfucker. 5, 6 bullets, whatever it had in that motherfucker. Now, just so happened, it's a police right across the street sitting in the parking lot. So he see all this. So after Robert finished shooting, Robert take off running. Robert had a room. It was right across from the arcade bar. It was like big old giant house. Somebody owned it, and they had converted it to where, big 2-story house where they was renting out each room, renting out rooms for $15, $20, $30 a day, whatever it was. He had a room over there. So he take off running. But like I say, the police is right there. The police is on his ass. So they slide on him. They get over there on him. Eventually get him, take him down. You know what I'm saying? So everything, the niggas, they got him. They got him point blank basically for the shit. Now, he ended up shooting Wayne like 2-3 times, I think in the hip, in the side. But now to keep the shit real, keep the shit gangster for Wayne didn't do no telling. Wayne didn't have nothing to say. He didn't know shit. He didn't say shit. He left that shit in the street. So, long story short, Robert ended up beating the state charges. But where they fucked him is, Montana, the feds came and picked the case up. Ex-felon with a gun. And so he ended up getting probably about, I think maybe he ended up getting like 14, 15 years and shit. So, unfortunately for him, he was back to the pen again, you know what I'm saying? But, to me in my mind, at that particular time, I'll never forget, he said, man, if I don't try and kill him, God is a punk. Now, I don't know about y'all, man, but in my mind, God ain't no punk. So that was some cold shit to say. But anyway, that's the end of my little tale right there, you know what I'm saying? Y'all stay up, stay safe out there. Hit that like, you know what I'm saying? Hit that notification, all the shit. Subscribe to my channel, man. It's your boy, 16 to Life.
The crackers let me out the gate, now the pressure's on. We bout to get this shit straight like a pressing cone. The wrong cat to get aggressive on. I bring the bitch up out of niggas while you think they got them dresses on. My reach long and that's the best type. To have some dirty white boys come and smoke you like a meth pipe. And leave your chest bright red like a fire truck. Kicking your mom's door at night, nigga, and tie her up. I'm wild as fuck and I'm respected by the new youth. I put this pistol in their ear like a Bluetooth. I blow their brains on they new coupe. And have red everywhere just like a function full of soup whoops. Tell your troops I deal with beef like a butcher. My 4-5 pump more guys than Ashton Kutcher. Line pusher, quick to bury your clown, nigga. I stayed in the park like the merry-go-round. Get it?
That game greasy, bitch, that game need me. Oh, you niggas don't know my name. That game greasy, bitch, that game need me. I'm out here doing my thing. That game greasy, bitch, that game need me. I swerve in my own lane. That game greasy, bitch, that game need me.